What's happening, TwT fans? It's time for another Talkin' with Topher. This is episode 312. I'm so glad that you're all here. And let's get this party started like I always do by saying thank you. Thank you, everybody out there, for an amazing 6 years. It's been a wild ride, and I'm just thankful for everything I have today, every subscriber, every like, every comment, good or bad. I just want to say thank you all for your support for 6 solid years, 52 episodes a year. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But again, if you're new, remember to subscribe, click the alarms so that you know when all the new episodes upload. Of course, if you want an opportunity to tell your story or be a guest, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. That's the official email of the podcast, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. Send an audio, video, or type it out. And then, of course, the Linktree link is in the description below the video. Gives you access to everything TwT. It's all fixed and updated, and there's more things to come to the channel. I'm changing headers, the whole thing. We'll update the channel, get that stuff going. I'm hoping to have more guests on. I don't know where the future is going to take me, but I feel like a lot is going to change in my life this year. Because it has to, right? It has to. Let's get into the episode now that I got all the housekeeping out of the way. So what's happening, everybody? What a wild time. I am very angry at electronics today. I'm very angry. Yesterday, I tried to do this recording. My computer crashed. I lost everything Bluetooth, and I'm not sure what's going on because my phone just did the exact same thing about 5 or 6 days ago where I could not connect to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, or anything, and unfortunately had to get a new phone. So I don't know if this is something that's just happening. I don't know if I'm the only one that's experienced it. But what's going on with the connectivity to Wi-Fi and Bluetooth lately for me? I keep losing everything. I need a new mouse and I need a new keyboard because they literally will not link anymore. Weird, huh? But I will have to say that I completely and absolutely lost my shit over it. Yep. I have no patience left. I don't know if it's the lack of nicotine and that's just fucking with my mind, the amount of stuff that I'm going through today that's just putting me in a bad place. I did think about going to a meeting. Of course, this is coming out 3 weeks from when I'm talking about it, so I'll try to talking about it in 3 weeks past tense, but what I'm getting at here is that I was falling apart, everybody. I was falling apart, and I actually thought about going to a meeting just to express myself and talk my story because I felt like being in front of people who would be more understanding was going to help me through it, but just talking about it with people is what helped get me through it. But if you know, having that to lean on is not a terrible thing to have, I think. I was like, man, if I really need to, dude, I'm just going to go find the nearest meeting and just go stand up and talk because that will probably get me through the rest of the day. And man, I don't know if I'm glad that I didn't need it. I got something in my eye. Ugh. I don't know if I'm glad I didn't need it, but I'm glad I didn't need it. You know what I mean? But if you need it, please use them. They are good. I still think therapy's good too if you need it. But again, that turns into a weird situation, therapy. I think I heard Luke Thomas say it best where it's just people go to it, right? And it works for you, and that's fine. But there's also a point where you don't need it or you're just a narcissist and you like to just hear yourself talk. And I'm not sure where that line gets drawn and if it needs to be drawn by the client or the therapist. I'm not sure. I do think there is a fine line, though. But I think that if I had gone to that meeting, what I'm getting at is I would have needed it for myself. I felt like other people needed to hear it. And then at the same time, I was like, am I just being a narcissist right now? Can I just get through this with, but I don't know. That's that fine line, you know. I ended up having like a 2-hour conversation with my sister instead, which just helped tremendously, you know, just helped tremendously. So maybe it's not about where I have the conversation, but who I have the conversation with, right? I'm not sure, man. I got through it. Still no drinking. I will have to say that the most exciting thing that happened in my life in the last couple weeks was getting my 3rd stripe on my brown belt, everybody. Yeah. And it was funny because we talk about jiu-jitsu a lot in the truck. Anthony's been quite absent, but he's still involved. And I know he's trying to get back in. But we talk about the stripes and how exciting they are and, you know, kind of calculate when we're going to get them. I'm sure everybody does this. And you got to do it from time to time, right? You kind of look back on your card and you're like, oh, man, it's been a long time. You know what I mean? And then you're like, well, I mean, I've done this many classes. It should be coming up. One of those type of situations. I'm never the person sitting there going, I should have my stripe now. I never think of my stripe that way. I'm always like looking and I go, oh, okay, well, it was 9 months, so I'll see it in a couple months. Great. But I didn't. I got it, you know, like 3 weeks ago now. And it was exhilarating. I cried, everybody. It was just something I was not anticipating, but it was probably the longest road to that stripe that I've ever walked. There was so many things that happened to get me there. And it was amazing to finally reach it. And, you know, Professor always said, and I think I said this incorrectly on Instagram, but it's not about the stripe. It's about the journey to the stripe and what it takes to get to that stripe. And there were so many reasons. And even when I was working at Town Fair, I was like, I can't go to jiu-jitsu anymore. And they were like, come at least once a month. You know what I mean? And we worked it out. I think I talked about it. But this one here, man, with so much loss in between the stripe, it was just overwhelming. And this was the hardest stripe to earn. And I hope this is the hardest stripe I ever earned, you know? But going through all of that and then getting this stripe was just mind-blowing. Mind-blowing because he was right. I mean, most of the people that I listen to that give me advice are pretty correct today. And that's why I listen to him. But he was right. It's not about the stripe. And it's all about the journey before it. And it's not just about getting to class and doing what you're supposed to. It's life in between. It's loss in between. And it's hardship and joy and all of the emotions that you can have that are in between each stripe. That distance between each stripe may look minuscule on in the belt, but I will tell you, they are giant leaps in our lives. And it is amazing when you finally get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's definitely something earned, not deserved. And I don't think we talk about the journeys in between the stripes as often as I think we should. I think we should, because then the journey becomes more important than the stripe, which is the way it should be. Because if you feel like you deserve it, well, I hope your professor or teacher never gives it to you, because you are undeserving of the stripe if you feel that way. So really, really great stuff going on. Terrible things, hard times, and money woes, everybody. And on top of that, we are now in a full-on outblown war with Iran, which is just fantastic, right? This is exactly where we all wanted to be, is it not? I don't know, everybody. I don't know. I've lost faith in our government. I've lost faith in history. I've lost faith in anything that I was absolutely told in school. I do not believe anymore. It has all been broken and fractured, and it's all based upon lies, which is a terrible foundation to have, which is why it doesn't work for me anymore. So we are in a world of where the liars get away with lying, where the PD people get to keep doing what they're doing. They get to keep touching. They get to keep moving forward. They get to keep being rich. And it doesn't seem like there's any light at the end of this tunnel for people like me who want the truth, who want the bad and evil people to be punished for their evil deeds in being bad to all of us. And I don't know if we're going to get to see that, and I don't even know what we're going to get to see soon. I do see a very scary future in front of us all, and I think what we need to do is focus on what we can and never let the Epstein Files sleep, and never stop poking holes in everything that they're telling us. I'm going to try and not be as upset and angry during this podcast. I've noticed that my temperature has risen over the amount of time, but I think at this moment in time, it's time to start diving in to what I've got prepared for all of you today. This is a Topher After Dark, so I've definitely been enlightened. I'm trying to enjoy things. I'm on nicotine right now. I do the nicotine lozenges now. Still with the Serotonin pouches. Have not veered away from that, but I'm definitely having nicotine throughout the day. It's not 3 times a day. It's as much as I need it. Trying to curb my anger. And I've noticed that the nicotine not being in my life is something that is triggering my anger, and it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be to just cut it out of my life. So, hey, addiction is a terrible thing. It is very hard to deal with. We all deal with it on our own, but I'm not a weak person for needing nicotine. I'm just realizing that I need nicotine to curb my anger. Once we get into a good spot, we'll see how many. I'm trying not to go through more than 20 lozenges a week. So at minimum, it's 3 a day. And we'll see where that takes me. But I have realized that nicotine has a very, very tight hold on me. But I don't want to go back to cigarettes. I don't want to go back to vaping. I don't want to go back to pouches. I want to try and curb this as much as possible. And if just sticking to lozenges a couple times a week and not having anything else, maybe 86ing the Serotonin and just getting rid of pouches 100%, I think that would be a better outcome to my goal being achieved than to keep getting angry at life and everything in general and breaking stuff and just flipping out. I think being happy and on nicotine is definitely easier to deal with than anger and freaking out. You know what I mean, everybody? So you gotta pick your battles. You gotta pick your battles. But that's what's been going on with me this week. And of course, now I've got everything planned for you right here. And what we're gonna get into right now is this war with Iran is fucking stupid. All right, everybody's very upset. And I wanted to start with this because this gentleman is just speaking his right. He's speaking. This is his right as an American to be able to do this. And I believe what they have done to this man is absolutely wrong. And I think he had every right to do what he did. And he didn't need to have his arm broken. And we didn't need to see this. Personally, the senator going after him is crazy, and this is how the administration today is. Everybody fears Trump. They are treating him like a king, and I get that, but he's not a king, and these people are retarded. What they should be doing is what's right for the people of the United States. And where is Congress right now? Where is our Congress? We are now in a war illegally, and it's never been approved by the people. So he is acting like a king. He is acting like a dictator, and he has his administration treating him the same. Anybody that goes against what he is doing is being kicked out, and then people that approve of what he's doing are being put in place. He's never going to survive the midterms. It's not going to happen, man. It's not going to happen, because if you have what you have right now before the midterms and everybody is on your side and all of the people disagree with you, I think the people are going to speak. And we all, I think, are saying the same thing. Where the fuck is Congress, right? So let's watch this video.
Stand up as a Marine and stand up for America. No one wants to fight for Israel.
Guys, why are you here? Why are you getting arrested?
Free Palestine, from the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. Palestine will be free.
Oh my God, they broke his arm. Oh man.
We just witnessed a Marine veteran interrupting the hearing, and they broke his arm.
Why did he?
Yeah, I'm going to rewind it for everybody. I think you actually do see the moment.
No one
Watch,
wants
right
to
here.
fight for Israel.
Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. And this is the problem I have right now. This is the problem I have right now. Okay, and I'm gonna express my problem with this. It's the same. It's the same with ICE. It's the same with all of our law enforcement. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. It's the same. Why is it when we are restraining people, right? We are not paying attention to what we're doing to these people. It's absolutely terrible. We have been so conditioned to believe in a side that these people removing this person believe that what he is doing is so wrong that they have to stop him and shut him up. His arm is stuck in a door. You have to be so forceful that you can't even get his arm unstuck. Instead, you push him to the brink of breaking his arm. This is terrible. It's disgusting. And I don't understand why it won't stop. Palestine should be free. Israel has no right to do what they've been doing. For us to stand next to Israel is to stand next to people who have caused great pain and suffering to an entire race of people. The same thing we watched happen a long time ago. This is wild, dude. Because I believe what this man said is to be true. I don't stand with Israel. I don't want Americans to die for Israel. The fact that whatever his name got up there and was like, well, Israel was going to attack, and then so we attacked first. What are you talking about? Those are our missiles. That's our money. We fund Israel. We give Israel their weapons. Everything handed to Israel by us is ours. So every president has always been like, hey, that's our shit. No. And when I started looking at things, check this out, everybody, because I did not know this. And like I said, I'm not an educated person, okay? I'm not the smartest bulb on the tree or the brightest bulb on the tree. See, I can't even get that right. But what I did see blew my mind, because this is very interesting to me. Do you know the actual size of Israel? Do you know that it is literally the size of New Jersey? I did not. Now, if you look here, in 1946, this is Jewish land. Okay, anything yellow. Now, this is all Palestinian land. Then you look at 1947, which is the new UN plan. All of a sudden, you have Israel land. And Jerusalem is in the center right here. Now, that's Palestinian land. 1967, it starts changing again. And then today, you can see how much of the Palestinians have lost their land. But this is the size of Jersey, everybody. Look at this. Iran is giant. Israel, super tiny. Size of New Jersey, everybody. It is wild to me that we are letting this country just, I don't know, lead us into chaos. And I do believe that's what Netanyahu wants. He wants the chaos. He wants everybody to be against America. He wants Dubai to pull out. He wants, what's that other one that it begins with a G or something, but they want them all to pull out. They want everything to fall apart. They want everything to crumble. They want to solidify themselves where they are. And I have been told that Israel and the Jews are not the biggest problem that we have, but is it not a problem that we have right now? I believe it is. Now, do I agree with the Muslim movement and the fact that these things are all implementing on Christianity and extinguishing the white man? Do you understand the amount of times the white man has changed? The amount of times that people that were not considered white, that were considered white, to expand the extinction of the white people? Because it's not just a white man, right? If you get rid of the white man, you're getting rid of the white women and the white children and the white everything. Because white is toxic in all of their eyes, And we are to accept this because Hitler tried to wipe out the Jews and there was white supremacy. But was it really white supremacy, or were they trying to suppress people that were introducing all kinds of things that were destroying households, populations, and what they were actually doing was not trying to make things better, but they were actually making things worse because they're implementing these ideas into people's heads that you don't need a family, you don't need traditions, you don't need to be male and female and make babies and have populations grow. You should be isolated and you should be with parties of the same sex, because then now you'll all be happier this way. And what that does is it destroys populations. It destroys the home. It makes people stay inside. It makes people not want to talk to each other. And then they don't depend on other people. And then they go insane and they kill themselves. Because people need people. That's what I see today. Is that what Hitler was trying to stop? I don't know. But man, if it is, it seems like we need to stop it today. We've got hundreds of thousands of people that can't wait for their new sex robot to show up. They literally stay inside of their houses because the world and the environment that they go into within their video game every day is more enjoyable than their actual fucking life. What? That's crazy. I mean, life is definitely not easy, and it's as much fun, I guess, as you want to make it, but at the end of the day, man, life is way better than a video game. But these people are convinced otherwise. And the big corporations and Meta and Instagram, all of them, I think they're the same now, but they want you in these virtual worlds. They want you to stay in these virtual worlds. They want you to feel like the virtual world is your world to be in. You're already in a world, everybody. Make it what you want it to be. If you stay within the video games and isolate yourself, that's scary. That's very scary. And that is where a majority of our people are sitting today. And is that because of all of this? Is this their design? I believe it is. I believe what we're watching is the demise of the United States. And we are seeing it more clearly today than ever. And I'm sorry, this Iran war is not ours. It is Israel's. Check this out. How do you feel about the U.S. attacking Iran?
I don't want World War III. I want a crusade.
And I think that was said very well. Because I said this before. Me and Miguel and Elijah have said this. And we said this years ago. This is a religious war, everybody. Iran, and they've even said this. If you're watching the news today, you've already seen it. Soldiers have been told, this is Armageddon, everybody. And you look up Armageddon, and it's an ancient word, and it doesn't have the meaning of like the movie and everything else. It's the coming of Christ. But they don't believe in the coming of Christ. Right? So this is where I get confused and where I don't know a lot of stuff. And this is where all of you got a little angry with me with the atheism and blah, blah, blah. But I don't really give a shit. Right? I'm learning this shit. This is how I learn. I don't care. But what I'm seeing is a war on Christianity and white people. And maybe she's right. Maybe we do need a crusade. Maybe we do need to stand up and stop our government from doing what it's doing with Israel. How do we do that? How do we do that today? Well, I don't think we can, because I don't believe there's enough of us that can. I believe there's more of the population sitting at home behind a video game, enjoying their video game life, than there are people that are like me and upset and angry and want to see this all stop. So, I said it before and I'll say it again. I do believe this is a religious war, because it says something about the Persians. Sorry, my mistake. The Persians being first. Well, the Persians, right? Iran today. So it seems to me like Israel is trying to complete something from the Bible. But if they complete it, I believe Satan wins. And I know how crazy this sounds, but I'm sorry, man. If it is a war between God and the devil and demons and angels, I'm on the side of Christianity. I'm on the side of Christians. I'm on the side of God and Jesus. That's where I stand. I don't know how strong my faith is today, right? It's very weak. It's not a strong faith. But what I do have is a little bit of faith now. I didn't have a little bit of faith before. I had no faith. I have a little bit of faith. If something truly is biblical, that is coming true today, then yes, I believe that Christianity, Jesus, and God are much stronger than the devil, Satan, cabal, and all of them. And maybe, just maybe, if our president cannot give us what we want, which is the draining of the swamp, the prosecution to all of the people that have done all of the children harm, and we can't get our shit right and get away from Israel and break free from this Islamic takeover, then yes, I hope to God that Christianity prevails and everybody else gets put in their place. Because out of everything that I've read and everything that I've gone through, I believe in the Old Testament, the book of Enoch, and everything before people started manipulating religion for their own beliefs. That's where I lay now. That's where I'm sitting. I am putting my heels in the dirt right there. So I hope so, man. I hope so, because I am on that side, because this is insane to me that we're going to let some people who believe in magic and a demon who eats children over everything that I've been brought up to believe in is crazy to me. It's just crazy to me. So, oh man, I've gone super long in the tooth, huh? All right, well, let's go to this one, because this is a Maine state rep, which is wild, dude. This is what's happening. This is what I was talking about right here.
kaloo idinkula dardaarmi lahaa insha Allah haddii aynu Soomaalinahay inaynu maaragtay wax wada qabsano, dalkii ka fikirno, dalkii wax tarno.
All right, so she says, we Somalians living outside of our Somalia must always prioritize our country, Somalia.
maaragtay haddii aynu dalka dibadiisa aynu joogno
and think of developing our country.
ama gudihiisaba aynu mar walba maaragtay aynu ka fikirno sidii aynu dalka horumarin.
this must be done, especially by those Somalis abroad, such as in the U.S. So this Maine state representative is telling everybody that if you are Somali and you live in the U.S., you need to think about Somalia and building our country. Dude, this is the problem I have with everybody. Look, it's one thing to come to America because you want to come to America and you want the American dream, which I don't even know if it exists anymore. And from everything that I've heard, most people are leaving America now, which is a terrible thing to hear because that is literally the collapse of the empire, everybody. When nobody's coming in and everybody's fleeing, that's usually a good sign that the ship is sinking, okay? Now, if that holds to be true, that is a very scary thing to think about. The fall of the empire, right? We're in the middle of the fall of the empire, everybody. What a scary situation to be in because we don't know how it's going to fall and who's going to take it over, right? What are we going to wind up with a fucking regime change here in America? Who knows? We might. But at the end of the day, man, just think about that. A regime change where we want to take out the leaders and then their people are supposed to stand up and take over the country. Could anybody do that here? If somebody was to take out our fucking president and then all of a sudden what? We're supposed to uprise against our government and take over. Huh? Do you know how to do that shit? I don't. So expecting other people in other countries to do it is kind of insane, right? We can't even do it ourselves. But then we have people coming to our country to hold up their country's needs. No, man. If you're coming to America, you're coming to America. Yeah, sure, you can be from Somalia, you can be from Africa, you can be from wherever you are going to be from when you come here. But we, as Americans, do not follow your shit. This is crazy that they want to. You got to uphold Somalia while you're in the U.S. No, you don't. You're in the U.S. You follow our shit. So when I hear and see things like this, I get mad. I get mad because this is our downfall. This is what's happening. This is how the Islams are implementing their laws. This is how now New York has the tones so that they can go pray. This is how these things keep happening because we are allowing it because we're inclusive. How inclusive can you be before your inclusivity absorbs and deletes everything you've done? I think we're at the deletion part. People are deleting American rights for other countries' beliefs. This is why I've always said, man, we say separation of God and state, but it's not real. We're in the middle of a religious war, everybody. We took religion out of war to stop wars from happening because of religion, and we are now in a religious war. Standing next to people who did exactly what you told me Hitler did to them. Jesus Christ, man. The writing's on the wall, everybody. Candice Owens has been attacked. She has been threatened, and she's still continuing. And I approve because she's one of those voices that have been fighting back forever, and we should all be so happy that she is still fighting today. People, the whistleblowers, like Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, all of those people, man, need to be treated completely and absolutely different. I think the fact that the way the whistleblowers have been treated are the incorrect way to do everything. It's the wrong way to think, and I have disagreed with it forever. I don't know about you, but anything Snowden says, I listen to still today. I know a lot of people are gonna hate this too, but I'm sorry. Andrew Tate also had some good shit to say, especially with the pushback. And yeah, sure, I don't know about the whole trafficking thing, but I think he got past most of that at this point. I have seen some recent and heard some recent podcasts. So he is still doing things today, but I mean, these people have been treated the worst for exposing the worst in our people. That to me is a sign of good faith. That is a sign of God poking through, of light being shined down on evil. And now we need to continue listening. And I got a video for you today with Candice. Here we go.
There is a very strange thing happening right now where a young woman with absolutely zero professional qualifications has been inserted at the top of a charity organization that pulled in over $250 million last year. And the media is telling you that you have no right to know or to ask anything about her. The argument being made is that her husband was murdered. Therefore, she has a right to assume the position. And despite the fact that Turning Point USA is a literal charity, and therefore does not even have to pay tax on that $250 million+ or pay tax on the alleged future billions that it's due to rake in thanks to a deal with a man named Pierre, these talking heads are claiming that the public simply wanting to ensure the person who is running that organization is, I don't know, at a bare minimum, moderately honest about who she says she is. No, that inquiry makes you a monster. So I guess your job is to head to work 9 to 5, receive a flurry of unsolicited emails and text messages reminding you that Charlie Kirk, the innocent man that you watched be executed in broad daylight live, you're to be reminded that that was her Charlie. My Charlie needs your help. Here's how you can give us your 401k and house. The emails have been landing into your inbox at an alarming rate and things like that. There's virtually nothing that the feds are telling us about his murder that makes any objective sense. But if you're feeling weird about any of that, you're reminded constantly that she is a grieving widow. She's a grieving widow. That sentence, in my opinion, is this year's Trust the Science. She's a grieving widow.
Yeah.
The mainstream media, of course, Zionist implied, are effectively telling you to roll up your sleeves and get the vaccine again, dopes. Tyler Robinson did it. Erika Kirk is grieving. Please allow her to do so in the privacy of the billion-dollar charity that she took over. Remember when they did the 6 feet social distancing thing? They cast that spell. Let your granddad die alone in the hospital. If you desire to see your grandma this Thanksgiving, it's because you're a demon from the gates of hell. Yeah. Resist your human instincts. Obey the government. It's the same kind of messaging, the same kind of emotional manipulation, but it's a new year. Still have questions or concerns about who Erika Kirk is and why she seems to have lied many times on record? Well, you're Satan, and I'm sorry that you are. And also, I would like to remind you that you are destroying Charlie's legacy. Now, it is very important that I remind you, we haven't even said anything yet. A 2-minute trailer resulted in one of the most aggressive preemptive PR strikes that I have ever seen. They posted photos of my manager's infant daughter, my makeup artist, my family members. Lots of voicemail from my producer. Okay, well, this was initially supposed to be just 3 episodes. Now I'm thinking about a season 2 and a season 3. Because if you haven't quite figured me out yet or thought through how we got here, I don't like it when innocent people are targeted and attacked and on rare occasions shot in the neck in broad daylight. No one blinked when entire investigative series and books were written about Hilary Clinton, Michelle Obama, Meghan Markle, because they're public figures. I've effectively endured 10 years in politics with nonstop exposés and investigations into my background, but we're told Erika is somehow untouchable. Let me tell you something. The truth does not require a multi-million-dollar PR campaign. It also does not fear inspection. So welcome to Bride of Charlie.
We have nothing to hide.
This is great. What? Oh, dude, we have got to watch that. Should we watch it? Oh my God, dude, this is great. I am so excited. I love Candice Owens. I think she is absolutely amazing. And like I said, man, her doing this and coming out with this. And okay, so I found it on YouTube, Bride of Charlie, A Wrinkle in Time, episode 1. There has been 5.1 million views on this. It streamed 10 days ago, so it's about, 30-something, 20-something days now. I'm definitely giving her a subscribe and a thumbs up, and I will be adding this to my watch list for later, dude. This is absolutely great. Let's see here. Done, and done. Save to watch later. Perfect. So now I'm going to watch that later. You just watch me do that live here on the episode, kind of live. But so, I mean, dude, I'm going to show you a picture right now. Dude. Like, you can't tell me this is a different person now. So this is her before Charlie's death, and this is her now. What's up with the makeup? What's up with this woman? She has been caught cheating on Charlie. She has been caught lying. She has been caught making the 16th. I think I played it last week or the week before. 308, 309. Or was it 310? I don't know. Between 308 and 310, I played a video of her getting all these likes and all these things going on. And it was like a day or two after he had been killed. There's no tears that she's wiping away. It's absolutely disturbing. Who is this woman? Who is she, right? Do you know? Because I do not know who this woman is. Now, to move forward, Joe Biden was never the president of the United States. Epstein Files reveal he died in 2009 and was quietly replaced. What? Are you fucking kidding me? Look at these. Look at the files, dude. The dude playing Biden ain't Biden. Real Biden was an evil, sick, angry man who abused children, including his own. That's an actor with a fucking mask. We've been over this 1,000 times. It's never going to change. Biden is shot. 2019 firing squad. Okay? What? Dude, these Epstein files, we can never stop reading them. This is insane. Biden is not your current president. He's a fucking clone. The dude playing Biden ain't Biden. Selling and owning of humans and human souls is over, dude. Like, this is in the files. Look at what's underneath these lines. Libya is a rich country. I also have friends formerly with MI6s and Mossad willing to help identify stolen assets and get them recovered. Dude, the Libyans now are legit but need real help. They must be careful. There will be many claims on that money. Dude. Understood. Remember, there are already $80 billion in frozen funds and assets internationally, of which $32.4 billion is in the U.S. Dude, this is dark shit, man. Dark shit. Certainly not in Saudi. Just think, I will avoid the Middle East for the next decade or so. Look at when was this? 2016. They were saying to avoid the Middle East for a decade or so. And guess what, everybody? It's 2026. It's 2026, and February 28th has already passed us. 1 decade. I mean, it's March 26th now, which is a month past that. So they were saying, stay the fuck away from there for at least a decade or so. And we're at the decade point today. Dude, I mean, you can't make this shit up, everybody. You can't make it up. It's there. So if it's all in front of us and they're still like, hey, pay no attention. And then this war starts because why? Because Venezuela did not take our attention away from the Epstein Files. So maybe the Iran war will take us away from the Epstein Files. Or maybe the fact that he's going to try and attack Cuba now will take us away from the Epstein Files. Literally, dude, no matter what you do, we will never stop talking about these Epstein Files. Never. I do not care. I do not care. Now, giants, dragons, biblical fallen angels is so obvious that they weren't myths. I truthfully do believe that no, you are correct. These are not myths. This is real. And if this is all real and biblical shit is happening today, which they told us it is, and if you look at what they have told the Marines and everybody fighting in this fucking Iran war, you will see that they were told that this is a holy war, Armageddon. And that's what they're fighting for. There literally is no answer for any of this, people. There is no reason for us to be next to Israel doing what we're doing. Because why? Because they haven't given us a good reason. The only reason, honestly, that they've given us is that Israel was going to attack first, which is retarded. If you're just listening to this, I'm going to shut this sound off. It's just yelling and screaming, and I don't know. Sometimes I don't even think that the background music is going along with anything. So giants are among us. You can see that there is, or was, because look at this. Who the fuck is going to reach that lock all the way up there? Look at that door. I mean, this guy is probably almost 6 feet tall. And you could do 1, 2, 3 of him standing shoulder to shoulder on top of shoulders to reach the latch on the top of that door, which is insane. So who was that made for? Who's doing that? Then you see just a giant rock of purified giants, which could they have been carved into the mountain? Was that like, you know what I mean? Like, why are those there? Why is this there? Why are these things there? The Pennsylvania train station in 1910, 150 feet high, America's largest building built to stand 1,000 years later. What? We didn't build this. Who built this? Because I will tell you this much right now. These old houses were meant for short people. That's what we built shit for. So who built this shit? The giants. They had to get through. They had to be able to walk around, right? Look at that. That looks like a purified giant. Like a giant died and became the rock. That's what they mean by purified. Now, this is one of those trees, which does look like a tree, guys. If you, I could take a picture of my tree outside right now that we chopped down 4 years ago now. That's what's happening to it. That's what happens to a tree trunk when you cut down a tree. This is how they rot out. You gonna tell me that this is just a mountain that is rotting out and collapsing identically to the way that my stump from my tree that I cut down 4 years ago is deteriorating today? They look exactly the same. So you tell me this isn't a giant fucking tree that allowed giants to come down. You tell me that the stargates that we find all over the place were not portals to other dimensions that somehow one of our ancestors destroyed and either stopped them from using or cut down the trees to stop the giants from coming down. I don't know, man. You tell me that all of the people within our government are not touching children. You can't, can you? You can't tell me these aren't trees, and you can't tell me there are not giants. You can't. You can't tell me that it's not true. So then you see stuff like that out in the water, right? Oops. There were once beings larger than we could ever imagine. Is this just a rock structure? Or is this something that the giants maybe carved out to show their appreciation for elephants? Is this 2 giant elephants that got purified over time? I don't know. But we'll just keep digging into it. You know? I mean, this looks like a tree, guys. It looks identical to a tree. Look at the rings in the center. The way it's rotting on the sides, just like when the bark falls off of a decomposing stump. I mean, what is this? Is that real? I've never seen this before, but that looks like a giant gorilla. So who knows? Again, those look like roots that died and then sank, right? Because that's what happened all around my yard. All the feeding roots underneath the ground started decomposing. My ground started sinking. My grass started falling in, right? Because now the feeding roots are all dead and dying, so everything collapses. Dude, I mean, could that be a giant turtle? Maybe. Another one, another tree, just a purified rock, or an actual face. Not sure. You know, but if you're looking at these pictures along with me, it is wild to see, because what is going on here? Is that a giant laying on his back or her back? Looks like it from a distance, doesn't it? I mean, come on, everybody. You're going to tell me that wasn't a tree. That picture's wild, dude. And it also looks like somebody went all the way to the top and then made a road that goes down into the center. But it still looks like a tree. Those look like tree roots. I mean, who? Look at this. Look at the height from that person standing there and those door knockers. It's weird, everybody. It is weird. Whoa. It looks like a purified alligator. Another tree. Just a giant. Giant doors. Who's it for? Could those be feet? Wow, look at that, dude. What if that was a giant purified mushroom? Interesting. That's crazy. Wow, dude. Imagine if this was something, huh? That's crazy. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? All right, come on. That's kind of neat. So it looks like a giant axe laid out on one of the trees. And if you can see this, somebody else did kind of like a replica by grabbing a small axe and putting it on an actual tree stump, taking a picture from above. This one we're taking from below, but they look the same. So what if that was the giant axe that chopped down all the giant trees? Dude, this is wild. Could that be a purified giant? Wow. Just wow, everybody. I mean, I don't know if this blows your mind like it blows mine, but I will tell you this much right now. Crazy shit, man. And with everything happening today and the way things are going and the Epstein Files, there really is no way for you to tell me this isn't real. It's just, I'm going to believe what I want to believe. And you should too. You should too. So, former Area 51 scientist was found shortly after revealing this. Do you want to know how he was found? Epstein. Check it out.
Now, where there are 1,833 of them that have been living underground between 100 and 200 miles beneath the surface. They've been here, some of them have been here a long, long time. They have lifespans that are thousands of years. They're carnivorous. They're not friendly to mankind, at least the ones that are here.
Are you saying carnivorous, they eat humans?
Yes. And they need to be, they won't eat a dead human. It has to be alive at the time of the killing. Their preference is children. You know, and we've been told, you shouldn't talk about that. You know, there are other people say, well, you better not talk about the reptilians. Well, you know, bull. You know, why not? According to the Andromedans, they're responsible for 31,712 children disappearing in the last 25 years from the United States. These children were food. And I'm supposed to just shut up and not say anything about it because people don't want to hear it? That's tough. That's tough. You know, Westchester County, in the last 5 years, 3,000 children in Westchester County, New York, have vanished without a trace. Where are they going? Why are we allowing this to happen? And why should people stay in denial about it?
Now, how are they able to do this? How are they able to?
He is very upset, everybody. Like, if you're watching this video, he is very upset.
How are they able to do it? How are they able to come up out of this from underground and do it? Or do they have...
There are tunneling systems everywhere. They're being helped by the Greys, and also there are groups within the higher echelon that are actually helping them acquire this.
So human beings are abducting the kids and getting them to the Greys to in turn give them to the Alpha Draconans?
That's right. That's part of the deal. They won't come up as long as we feed them down there. You understand? It's about human beings selling themselves out. The echelon attitude here, the needs of the few outweigh the needs of humanity. And sorry, that just isn't right. You know, but it's going to have to be humanity that's going to rise up and take the stand. You're just going to have to turn off your televisions. They're going to have to get in their car. They're going to have to fire everybody in Washington, D.C. that knows and does nothing. And they're going to have to do something. You know, this apathy's got to end. Otherwise, the way we live is going to end. Period. I mean, that's the bottom line. You know, and I'm not coming from a fear space. I'm really quite angry about the apathy and the fact that, you know, when people give lectures and try to tell this, people want to stand up and fight with them. Look at what's happening around us. The indications are everywhere. Everywhere. The truth is now an obscure thing. Mm-hmm. You know, the lie is the norm. Yeah. There's something wrong here. What's wrong with this picture?
That's crazy, man. It's absolutely insane. He's absolutely correct. He's absolutely correct. It is wild how out there and in our face everything is. And yet the lie is still what everybody stands behind because it has been ingrained in us. It's just constant. And I don't know about you, but I've seen the stuff that is going on today, and what is being taught is just mind-blowing, because I thought when I was growing up, they weren't teaching us anything about real life. And I see my nieces and nephews growing up in the public school system, and they don't know shit about life. It's the way they want it, everybody. They dumb it down. They make it so that you think you're getting an education, and then when you get let out into the world, you have no education on anything or how it's going to be, and you have this idea of how it's going to be and how you're supposed to be and what's supposed to happen. And basically, if you don't follow those rules, now you're not following the system, and now you're nothing but a problem because you're looking for the truth instead of listening to our lies. And that, to me, is wild to even say today. It's crazy, dude. This guy has it all figured out. And now, well, I guess he got Epstein, and he's no longer here. And this video looks about 20 years old, 25 years old. And he was like, it's happening. It's underneath us. And we're keeping them alive. And we're trying to commingle here. But it's not going to last forever. And he's right. Because we're looking at it, everybody. I believe we are actually looking at the end. I think so. The end of our empire. The end of life as we know it, maybe. But if Iran wants to do what they want to do, and they have been preparing for this for 25 fucking years, well, then they've got every dot and T just dotted and crossed. I mean, every I and every T is dotted and crossed, and they're ready for this. This is not something that they were not prepared for, which should worry us all. So Hilary once said to Obama, when we begin the pizza arrangement, I thought we were going to be more careful than this. Operating from the White House is not what I originally had in mind. Remember that the hot dogs can come, but if you make a spectacle out of it, that will be our downfall. Never forget. Now, Hilary already went on the stand, already said, didn't know. So did Clinton. Now, we both know that they're both liars, right? We all know that they are both liars, that they literally are lying to our faces. Trump is lying to our face. Every move that they make right now is to pull us away from all of the truth that we are uncovering, even within these redacted bullshit Epstein files that they released. I don't know. They said that they were going to bring her in and talk to her about these files being released the way that they were released. Is it actually going to fucking go anywhere? I doubt it, because does anything work out in our favor? Never. So, but Humaira Odeon, Barack Obama, John Podesta, B. Affleck, and Nancy Pelosi were also included in this email. Look, Pelosi is insider trading and should have been fucking prosecuted and thrown in jail just like Martha Stewart, and never was. And if it was anybody else, we would have been. But you want to know what else would have happened to us that never happens to these politicians? How about that grandmother or mother that was snatched up and now nobody's talking about, by the way, ever since the war? But everybody was up in arms, because if this was your mom or my mom or grandmother or whatever, nobody would have given a shit. Nobody would have cared. But yet it was all over the news trying to get her back. Yeah, did you also hear that her husband was in the Epstein Files? And that the mother was supposedly kidnapped to keep his mouth shut. Look it up. These Epstein Files, man, these are not lies. They are redacted, and they are telling us a different story than what they should be telling us, but they're not lies. And this shit is bullshit, always. Now, Epstein being alive, I don't know. Supposedly, we got this photo here, and somebody asked Grok to remove the beard and shorten the hair of this man. Well, there it is. I mean, again, this leans on Epstein being alive, Charlie Kirk being alive. I don't know. I don't know, everybody. It does make more sense to me. And if he is alive, it's because of connections to people and not because he was good at taxes. But I don't know if he's alive. So we're going to go lean back into this giant lie. All right. We're leaning back into this lie. I want to hear more on this. I want to hear more on everything, because that's how we make the best decisions that we can. And listening to everything that pops up about this today, I think, is more important than it ever has been.
what about the 6 million Jews? Well, one of the easiest questions to take care of, actually, is the 6 million Jews. These people, these Jews, if this were true, the 6 million Jew story, you would have to give the Jews credit for being more clever than the cats for having 9 lives, because these Jewish gas Jews show up again and again and again all over the world, not just here. The Jewish Encyclopedia, which you can consult, and as you can see in all my literature, lists in 1932 and 33 only 2.5 million Jews for the entire area. Everywhere that Hitler possibly could have been. There were only 2.5 million Jews, and yet he is accused of gassing 6 million Jews in a 2.5 million Jew area. I would be very grateful if the Jews would explain this to me. They've never done it. I think this 6 million Jew stuff is the biggest of all the big lies that has ever been told. And while we're at that subject, let me point out that in Mein Kampf, we hear forever about Hitler's big lie. If you will read and study in Mein Kampf, if you look at the actual book, rather than just listen to Jews like William L. Shirer telling about it, you will discover that Hitler says in Mein Kampf that the Jews are the great masters of the lie, and he says that their biggest technique is what he calls the big lie technique, and he says it's vile. He not only didn't invent it, he doesn't advocate it, he says it is a filthy technique by which the Jews tell an enormous lie, and it's so big that nobody ever suspects them. That's exactly what's going on in our country today.
And look, man, I did talk to Gemini, all right? I don't do it very often, and it was a runaround conversation for a moment, and what I ended up doing is I eliminated the names, and I said, what if 40 million people disappear? That changes the carbon footprint, correct? And it said yes. And I go, so if 40 million people disappearing, which is Genghis Khan, disappearing changes the carbon footprint, is it then possible that 6 million people disappearing at one time should have changed the carbon footprint at least a little? It said yes. I stopped it after that because it was going to go into a whole thing. All I wanted was the answer yes. Is the possibility of 6 million people disappearing, is it possible to change the carbon footprint? The answer is yes. If you look back at that time, there was no change in the carbon footprint. There was no change in the carbon footprint of the planet, that area, or anywhere else. There was no change. The simple fact is if 6 million people disappear, the carbon footprint is changed, period. So therefore, I need more evidence than a museum full of artifacts that humans can put into a building, in a room, and display in a way to fit your narrative. I do not believe anymore that this is a true story. I think this is one of the biggest lies that we have ever been told. Okay, so Bill Gates and Epstein Files. How do we get rid of all of the poor people? Canada to begin euthanizing babies for poor families. Oh, isn't this nice? Look at this article, everybody. This is so disgusting. And this is something that is actually happening in Canada. You don't have to believe me, but I'm telling you right now, this is just the next step that they're doing. They've already been euthanizing the young and the old. If you are depressed, you can euthanize yourself today. This is crazy. So, Canada to begin euthanizing newborn babies for poor families. This is so gross. I don't even understand anything about it. This is known as fake news, but that's according to some community note written by an Instagram user. So I don't fucking believe that Instagram user. It says it's been fact-checked by the People's Voice community. I don't know who they are, but this is not the first article I have read or seen or the first interview I have listened to about this happening in Canada. it is getting dark up there. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the fact that Katy Perry married Trudeau. I don't know. But man, oh man, what is going on in Canada? This is worrisome. Now, 23andMe, well, they're no longer in business, right? But I do find it interesting that these videos have been popping up since their demise. But look at this.
I wanted to see what would happen if I sent my pet lizard DNA into 23andMe.
They better not have been scamming us.
We extracted enough saliva to send off in the mail. We were so excited to see the results.
Oh,
after about 3 months, we were shocked. My lizard was 51% Ashkenazi Jew.
They've been lying!
He was also 48% West Asian.
What the f...
This was really interesting.
What is this?
A little bit of his background and his history.
What is this?
Etc.
What?
Let us know which animal's DNA we should send in next.
Oh my God, dude. You think that's why they went out of business? Dude, Ashkenazi Jew. Oh boy. Yes, a lizard is definitely 40% Ashkenazi Jew. Oh boy. I mean, I wonder why they didn't make it, huh? Who were they owned by? I don't know. I used Ancestry. Ancestry is still around. Ancestry is still getting it right. I mean, my dad just popped up in my Ancestry since his passing. So, sad, but true. I don't know about this at all. I mean, I could pull up my Ancestry if you want me to. I will show you. But I will tell you right now, I am not Jewish at all. And I don't think that Ancestry is lying to us. Now, Ford had a major problem with the things going on. And he had some choice words. I think this is very interesting because to hear of the people that were kind of in the times, right? This is what I keep going back to. These are the years that things were happening. This is the time when this stuff was going down. So if anybody has anything to say about what was happening back then, I believe the people that were living back then. I believe their words over anybody's. They lived through it. They were there. So how can we deny them? But Henry Ford believed there was an international globalist cabal of Jews trying to take over the world. Crazy, dude.
Automobile pioneer Henry Ford blamed Jews for everything. He assembled a staff of experts to research the origin of European Jews. His research cost him several millions of dollars. His conclusion was that these Jews, who are committing all sorts of crimes, were rapidly taking economic and political control of America. He bought himself a weekly newspaper and used it to spread his anti-Semitic propaganda in a series of 91 weekly articles called The International Jew that claimed there was a global Jewish conspiracy to take over the world.
But Henry Ford, right? What? He had his own paper. He literally put it out there that the Jews were doing corrupt shit to America. Dude, I mean, were they wrong? Because I feel like all of them were correct. And when all of this got suppressed and we were fed the lie even further, dude, this is wild to find out. We have been just in this lie that they have created for us for decades, man. And I'm sorry for the people that really, really believe the lie. And for the people that are not going to believe that I believe that the lies are lies, you know, I think you're all in for a very, very rude awakening. Because if you're not seeing the writing on the wall now, I don't think you'll ever see it, man. So this is the truth of why we're in the Iran war today. Let's see if it coincides with anything that I've already said, because I believe we all know why we're there, but let's see if there's more to it.
Everyone wants to get Iran. Why is that? I know why. It's because they pull the strings. See, Rome doesn't want any shackles. The Farnese family, they set up the Tuscan Empire, they set up Rome. They are behind all of Italy's domination of the world, the Roman Empire. And then the Orsini, especially the Pallavicini and Aldobrandini. These are Persian names. They're all Persians. And they went to Rome because that was strategic. And then Rome went to Holland, and then from there, William the Conqueror, I think it was, went to England. Now the city of London runs the show, and then they brought that to DC. And so from Iran, they pull the ultimate strings. Rome and London and DC, the three city-states of the empire, they don't want those strings anymore, because they have got technology which channels the egregores, or the demons, if you like, and Rome wants it. They want it, and they want to bring it to Jerusalem. So that's why Iran is the enemy.
That's why Iran is the enemy. Very interesting to me. Very interesting, because, man, so London, DC, I'm telling you, dude, this just gets more wild every time I dig into it, because you're just like, really? And they want to bring it to Jerusalem, which is where the Persians sit today, even though Persians are, I think, done, but that is where they sit today. And if they were to make the third temple in Jerusalem, because they want to bring the third temple to unlock the demons. Because why? Because they worship magic. They worship magic, everybody. Oh, man. But, you know, it doesn't fit the media's narrative. Jerusalem is different than Zionism. I don't think it is, but let's watch this video.
This is not a Jewish state. It's a Zionist terrorist state.
It's a Zionist terrorist state.
Correct.
So why is it that they don't consider you? Look, a Jewish person is against that. Are you anti-Semitic?
Let me ask you, am I anti-Semitic?
Tell me, that's what they want to say. Anyone who's against them is anti-Semitic. You're a Jew. Yeah, you're against them.
But the difference between Judaism and Judaism is a religion. Zionism is nationalism. This has nothing to do with anti-Semitic. We Jews lived in peace with the Palestinian people hundreds of years. So we lived in peace, and we can still live in peace. It's only because Zionism, the philosophy of there's a political movement.
So what are we supposed to do when even Jewish people call Israel a Zionist state? Right? Because I don't know about you, but when you have the same, I consider them to be the same. I've always thought that, you know, for the most part, all Jewish people thought the exact same way. But then again, I always thought all Christians thought the same way, and all, pick a religion. I think they all tend to think the same way, but there are within those systems groups that have separated themselves from certain things. So there's groups within the categories, right? Let's just put it that way in my brain. But they're saying, like, we don't support Israel because they're Zionists. They're not Jewish. And that's anti-Semitic. So they're calling Jewish people anti-Semitic for going against Israel. Does anybody else see a problem with this? Do you, like, when the kettle is called black, and then the kettle that's black says, no, I'm not? That's crazy. We're in crazy town now. We're in crazy town, everybody. So let's hear what this gentleman has to say.
Have you looked into this 1666 Zebediah Zevi guy?
I have not.
Oh, dude, just go to YouTube and type in 1666, the Dark Messiah.
Okay.
And then like all these pieces started coming into place. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, this is literally the kingdom of the devil that has spread its tentacles and have been doing this for thousands of years.
Yes.
And we are in this huge spiritual war. And then all of a sudden my eyes are like, it's like this matrix. People that are listening know. If you know what I'm talking about, you know. If you don't know what I'm talking about,
start pulling on the thread.
All I can tell you is there's a red pill and a blue pill.
Yeah.
And once you take the red pill, there ain't no going back.
Can't not see it anymore.
You can't. And then so I started doing research on like this whole Ashkenazi Jews versus like 1948 Israel, all this stuff. And I'm like, we're colonized by this little group of people and have been for a very long time. And I'm convinced, even going back to Abraham Lincoln, that the bankers took out Abraham Lincoln because he was
trying to create a government
the greenbacks.
The greenbacks. Yep.
Look into it, man. It is crazy what you find out when you type in 1666. I gotta say, man, this stuff makes more sense to me. And he's right. Once you start seeing this stuff, the threads start getting pulled, the things start falling into place, and you just go, oh my God, we have been just taken over. We've been infiltrated, everybody. It is happening. It is happening right now. I don't know how to stop it because they've been doing it for thousands of years. And if you think that stopping it is going to happen anytime soon, I don't believe that. What I do believe that is happening today is that it is becoming stronger, more solidified, and I am afraid of what happens after this Iran war. I'm actually afraid of what could happen when you find out that America is Israel's puppet. So where does that leave me and you? Do we have a constitution anymore when this war is over? Do we have a regime change? Are we now got to follow the rules of Israel? And is America lost? I mean, if you don't believe that our empire could fall, please leave a comment because I need to know what you're reading and listening to where you came up with that conclusion, because I would love to believe that the empire can't fall, but unfortunately, according to history, empires always fall. What is the Highlands Forum? Let's find out.
Surveillance is only valuable if the target doesn't know they're being watched. So this technology would need to be funded privately and quietly. So in 1994, the Highlands Forum was founded. Ever hear of the Highlands Forum? You probably haven't, and they like it that way. The Highlands Forum, or Highlands Group, was formed as a think tank, a bridge between technology companies and the Pentagon. The Highlands Forum is an invitation-only group of government officials, academics, and executives from tech and defense companies. Their discussions are private and off the record, operating under the Chatham House rule, meaning members can disclose information from the meetings as long as it doesn't harm anybody, but they can never reveal who said it. Not ever. Although hardly anyone knows about the Highlands Forum, the group is highly influential on U.S. defense policy, especially regarding technology. And they're a private organization. No auditing, no oversight, no Freedom of Information Act requirements. They're a black box, the perfect conduit for transactions you want to keep off the books. So, tech is booming, data is flowing, and we've got our think tank to connect us with the people capturing the data. Now we need the money to fund them. That same year, the Massive Digital Data Systems, or MDDS program, was launched. MDDS would fund scientists, researchers, and companies who worked with big data sets. The Highlands Forum would help identify, facilitate, and coordinate these transactions. To keep these transactions private and secret, The MDDS moved money through unclassified mainstream agencies like the National Science Foundation. Computer scientists were getting millions in grants from the NSF, totally normal. They didn't know who was really behind the money. And MDDS was highly compartmentalized. It had tons of projects and departments. Nobody knew what anyone else was doing or who was even in charge. And this was by design. But the overall program was managed by the CIA, NSA, and DARPA. So, we've got black budget money flowing through the NSF. And we've got our private organization, the Highlands Forum, looking for opportunities. So the word goes out to researchers in academia. If you can handle big data, we'll give you big money. Then, a promising project emerged. 2 Stanford graduate students working on a search engine made a breakthrough.
Wow. Wow, everybody. And I just want to let you know that this also, I believe, has to do with what we just talked about here, the Highlands Forum, is the Pentagon just recently turned down Anthropic's AI. Because why? Because they felt that the safety guidelines of their AI were going to be manipulated by the Pentagon to implement it into weapons. And they said no. And now the Pentagon has blackballed them and told everybody not to play with them anymore. I think this is just the biggest sign of what they want than anything. And yet it happens in front of all of us and nobody says a fucking word. It's weird. It's so weird that chat allows the Pentagon to use their AI for their weapons and everything else, and everybody's so happy for chat. That's great. Yeah, you got signed that contract. And Anthropic is like, no, you can't do this. It's going to be immoral. You can't do this to people. You can't put this in weapons. And the Pentagon's like, well, fuck you, and nobody else can use your technology either. You are now blackballed from the AI world. What? For what? Having some type of human compassion, for having some idea of where we should draw the line? And nobody says a fucking peep about it, man. It happened. It went by. Iran got bombed. And yeah, I want to keep the Epstein Files alive, but we also should be recognizing who the real AI is, right? The one that's working for the people. And it just got shut down by the government. What does that tell you? Because that tells me everything. So Big Homie CC, why ICE is running through terror cell groups. Let's check this out. ICE coming back up in the news here. I didn't think I was going to really talk about ICE, but it has its way of making it in every now and then. So let's see what they have to say.
It explains why ICE is pushing up on the land, these terror cell organizations.
Administration, 40,000 ISIS and Al-Qaeda workers and soldiers infiltrated the border. We just seen Afghani shoot National Guard. In Chicago, they found an apartment filled with C4 explosives, fire department uniforms, and police officer uniforms. This ain't about the guys hanging outside the Home Depot and the 7-Eleven. Our sovereignty is under attack because the Islamic State has been named as a terror organization. That's going to trigger attacks. In the Quran, it says, kill the non-believers. We have 40,000 Somalis who was using the unemployment system to send money back to Al-Shabaab, the same group. I'm just out there negotiating the freedom of children. That's what's going on in our country. So people talking about defund the police, and they talking about, oh, ICE is all this. Man, bro, in our communities, you have terror cells operating, point blank period. 40,000 Chinese nationals crossed the border. Then what do they find? They found a sim farm in New York where they had the infrastructure to take out 200 million phone lines. That's what's going on. Our national security has been...
And if that is what they are trying to break up, then that would be great. But unfortunately, I know a lot comes with this topic, and I don't want to get into any of it personally, but I am curious to see if there is anything that they're actually doing that is good. And if this is what is actually coming out of a lot of the ICE raids, and they are finding terror cell groups, I mean, I'm not angry about it. I'm not. I don't disagree with it because I don't want to see terror cell groups in America. So if they are actually finding these groups and something is being done in a positive way, well, it's being missed because why? Because Trump's a king and ICE is terrible and everything that he's doing is terrible. And I just don't believe that everything being done today is terrible. I just believe that it's all happening at the same time. There's good things happening and there's bad things happening all at once because you have people involved. And unfortunately, people, once they have power, get drunk off of it. And once you get drunk, you black out and you do things that you probably regret and or forget, or you don't. And you just don't care and you keep moving. And I believe all of those people exist within every single group organization that we have on the planet today. You have the people that want to do everything right. You have the people that don't give a fuck about anybody and then except for themselves. And then you also have the people that just want the power over other people. So there has to be some good in all things that are evil. I do believe that there has to be some good in there, but I don't know about... Yeah, I just don't know. I feel like there has to be some good in everything because if not, man, then I guess everything is just terrible. It's crazy, right? Yeah, let's listen to this next video because either Trump is slipping up or this was intentional. Let's see what it comes out of this.
Did you guys hear what Trump just said at the White House with business leaders? Some people wonder if he said the quiet part out loud or if there's something more to this. Check this out.
So we're into 6G now. I just 5G. I was a leader on 5G getting that done. And now they're up to 6. Let's do it again. What does that do? Give you a little bit deeper view into somebody's skin? See, I like the cameras the old days. So they just had a nice feature. Now they cover every little. Let's see, Michael, you're in good shape. But I tell you, it's the 6 is coming, huh?
Now, many people think he was just kind of joking around or making a little bit of a harmless, funny thing. But are you aware of what Xfinity just announced their new feature on their Wi-Fi routers are? That they can detect movement between your Wi-Fi router and other Wi-Fi devices like a smart thermostat. So this is the going theory, okay? There is a front end and a back end to Wi-Fi. The front end is what we use to have internet on our phones, although I don't use Wi-Fi. My phone right now is plugged in to this cable, which gives it internet through Ethernet. And then it's literally on airplane mode as I'm recording this. Then I plug it back into that, plug it into the Ethernet, and boom, I got internet on my phone without Wi-Fi. I do not have the Wi-Fi on in my home ever. And it's not just because tracking, it's also, I'm not a fan of the frequencies that are emitted from all these wireless devices that we're cramming inside of our homes. Our smart fridges, smart freaking toilets, thermostats, lights, Wi-Fi, new appliances, dishwashers. Your freaking laundry machine does not need to emit frequencies for it to function. It's all this extra features. You can press a button on your phone and see how long until it's done. But now, the going theory or a rumor is, and there may be fully confirmed articles of this, that your movements, think of sonar. It beams out a frequency, and whatever bounces off of that beam in the water, it paints back a picture to the hub of what is going on in the water, what shapes and sounds and all that. Wi-Fi is beaming a frequency. It's not too crazy to think walking through the frequency of Wi-Fi is disturbing its signal which can then be interpreted by the router and AI as what's going on. A picture, some people say they can tell your heartbeat, what part of the house you're in. Like, I'm not saying that's true, so don't get me, I'm just saying the possibilities of this do extend extensively. Now, what is 6G? And would it penetrate into our skin? Of course, they'll say it's non-ionizing and it's totally safe. And I'm not saying it's not safe. It's probably perfectly safe. But will there be another angle to it and another use for it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
Yeah, of course there's going to be another use for it. The use is finding out what you're doing in your home. It's another way to monitor us, right? Because if you are breaking the signal and painting a picture with the signal that you're moving around the house, then it knows your home. It knows what you're doing. It knows that you're moving. It knows that you're getting into your car and leaving, right? Holy shit, dude. I mean, it's just another way to surveil. That's all it is. That's all this ever is. And could they use it to snap us into a trance or mind control us? I don't know. But the 5G was coming up with that zombie thing. So what could the 6G do? Or was it that 5G was just the start of things and 6G is the end of it all, and as soon as they turn it on, it activates everything? I don't know. Sounds a little far-fetched to me, but I'm pretty sure Wi-Fi winds up in the Epstein Files, so you may want to just look into that. You know what I mean? I don't know. But I'm not saying, everything I have is Wi-Fi. I run my Wi-Fi all the time. So now I'm worried. He actually plugs his phone into the Ethernet? Very cool. Sounds a lot like Ben Greenfield. His whole house is just, they even make a paint that stops EMFs from coming through. So, wow, dude, I'm starting to think that we really need to start taking these signals and this Wi-Fi frequency a little bit more seriously. Something is going on here. Now, did you think it would be possible to grow teeth or to regrow teeth? Supposedly, this is no longer science fiction, and I'm going to have this guy right here elaborate on it. He's a dentist. So, Dr. Jeffery, Curatola, Curolta, I think.
Science fiction. We are actually extracting stem cells and using them to grow back the pulp, the dentin, and even enamel-like layers of teeth. Scientists in Japan and in the UK can regrow tooth buds, these seeds of new teeth, in animals, and human trials are just beginning and are moving forward in Japan. You won't need an implant. You won't need expensive bridge work. We can grow teeth back. It's about to become a reality.
Dude, this guy sounds way too excited for this to be fake. Dude. Okay. We've seen things with vision, night vision, getting back your vision, and now we are getting to the point where we're going to regrow teeth. Again, just giving you all the aspects of everything going on today. This is incredible, dude. Incredible to regrow teeth. Something that I was told that I was never going to be able to do. They are literally being able to start it today. I don't know if any of the human trials have started yet. If you are intrigued, I would just Google, maybe look into regrowing your teeth in China and see where they are at, because it seems like that's where it started. But to be able to regrow teeth, we haven't even cured cancer yet. But then again, if you were to cure cancer, the pharmaceutical industry would fall apart, So just keep listening to them, Keep listening to all of their lies. And the biggest one that they're pushing today is now marijuana is not what they thought it was. So that's the biggest lie coming out that I've seen today. It's absolutely insane to me. But now we're blaming bipolar and psychotic breaks on marijuana when the actual percentage of it actually happening were less than 1%. But again, like COVID and everything else, fear is what they always use. So remember this, as exciting as regrowing your teeth is, and as exciting as where the technology is taking us today, the same goes for the fear that they try to implement in us from day to day. Whenever they're throwing fear your way, that's when you need to go, I need to look the other way about this. I need to look into what they're trying to scare me with. Look into it, because you will find the truth is not as scary as the lie that they're trying to scare you with. It's not the same. And they will use fear tactics until the end, because they have gotten the most results from using fear and getting what they want every time. And the results don't lie. Every time they throw fear in our face, the public folds almost 9 out of 10 times. It's really, really sad. But we are in a remarkable place today where we are seeing teeth being regrown. What a fucking world we are in, huh? I am telling you, this is something, everybody. But I also want to say thank you again. This is the end of 6 years running. When I come back next week, it will be the start of the 7th year with this podcast. And again, I just want to thank all of you for being here, all your comments, everything that you've done for the channel over the years, all my guests. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I am looking so forward to hopefully a lot of changes on the podcast within the start of the 7th year. Again, if you're new, stopping by, remember to subscribe. Of course, if you want your opportunity to be a guest or tell your story, talkinwithtopher@gmail.com. It's the official email of the podcast, so send an audio, video, or type it out. And then, of course, the Linktree link is in the description below the video, along with all links discussed in this podcast. So go click it, find everything TWT. It's just that easy. And I do hope that everybody enjoys the rest of their Thursday. I hope you have an amazing weekend. And as always, I will talk to you next week.